over here. And our other group is the Democratic Party, the Obama team. Welcome. Welcome guests, welcome nominees. We're excited for a healthy debate from both parties. Just to let the guests know that our nominees have not been in any way exposed to the questions. They only know the issues that they should have researched. They do not know the questions that they will be asked. So it will be new to them, but they will hopefully provide a very exciting response to the questions. Members of our audience, you will be asking the questions, and you know who you are now. Miss Ann is one of the moderators. I am also moderating, and Mr. Nick will be working to make sure that the questions get answered and that both of our parties are ready to respond. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to my co-moderator, who would like to set some clarity on the rubric for our nominees.
Okay, the students were set up for success so that they knew going in what is expected of them as a team. So they had a rubric, much the same way that you do with your work. So one of the expectations is that they would have a thorough and fact-based response. Another one was that we are looking for participation over the course of the debate from the entire team. One is also knowledge of the opposing team's stand on major issues. Does each team have an understanding of the opposing team's stance on those issues? Fourthly and very importantly, is preparedness. How prepared does the team look? And are notes being taken during the debate for the purposes of response and rebuttal? Are they staying within their time limits? When the timer goes off, does the speaker wrap up his or her point? And finally, is there respect and cohesiveness of each team during the debate? Does each team member give full attention to the opposing team for the duration of the debate? And are side conversations taking place or being held to a minimum?
Thank you, co-moderator. A coin toss was held, and that decided who will start with opening remarks, who will answer the first question, and who will start with the closing statement at the end of the debate. The Romney team won the coin toss, and so we shall begin. Governor Romney, thank you.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for coming, especially the Obama group for joining us in this debate. And special thanks to Mr. Nick, Ms. Megan, and Ms. Ann for moderating this debate. We in the Romneyites have a lot of key points to make. First, to the economy. Our economy has not been doing very well in the last few years. Obama will probably say how the economy has gotten better, but that's partially due to the many people that have left the workforce, not due to all the new jobs that have been created. Second, taxes. We would like to lower taxes, especially on the middle class. They're one of our biggest issues, and we feel that the middle class has been carrying most of the weight. It isn't fair to everyone else. The top 5% should also have to pay an equal amount. We will hopefully get rid of loopholes and limit deductions that let them have to pay less than their fair share. Third, energy. We would like to become energy independent so that we do not have to pay any other companies for oil and other energy sources. And there'll be a lot more talking about this later. Fourth, Medicare. Obama takes money from Medicaid and Medicare to give money to Obamacare. People also have to have health insurance now, even if they don't have the money, which really won't help anyone. Last, Egypt, Libya, and Syria. In some of the countries like Egypt, there has been much progress and they're becoming democracies. But Syria is still killing thousands of its own citizens and not helping really anyone.
That makes sense. Thank you, Team Romney. And now, Team Obama, opening statements.
Hello, America. I, as President Obama, would first like to thank the moderators for being here, and most importantly, I would thank you for this opportunity to address our issues and concerns as a country regarding the U.S., our families, communities, and other nations around the globe. Let me first be frank with you. As you know, there are a lot of issues that our country is facing, primarily financially. Let me be clear. A lot of these issues existed and were brought upon our nation before I was elected into the office. As you know, my strategies are and always will be focused on bettering people as a nation. For example, the workforce. I strategize and plan to bail out the big three auto companies who were in turmoil and bankrupt. My plan not only saved the companies from closing completely, but it also gave millions of working people like yourselves their jobs back. In which I also brought more revenue or money back into the communities. I also improved the economy by preventing a Bush depression. As you know, Bush stopped all money geared towards the social programs that would have benefited families, businesses, the economy, and the economy. When I got elected, I made sure I created several policies that have saved jobs, strengthened the middle class families, and decreased poverty. For example, I provided funds to states and departments of Homeland Security to save thousands of police and firefighters' jobs from being cut down during the recession. Lastly, I have always been a person who has a love for helping people and never forgot the foundation of strong family values.
Okay, that concludes our opening statements. Based on the coin toss, our first question is directed toward Team Romney, and that is from the Elm Room, Michaela Saxinger, dealing with deficit and debt.
Please describe how you propose to reduce the deficit. How will you ensure that people will not be hurt by government programs and get cut to reduce the budget?
Thank you, Michaela, for that wonderful question. You see, what President Obama said on the opening statement on reducing the debt or fixing it and putting us in a good financial position is incorrect. When President Bush left office, we were in $10 trillion in debt. He was raising $6.9 trillion in debt, which, my opinion, is not very good. How we're going to fix the debt is a few simple strategies. We're going to champion small businesses. We're going to cut the taxes for the small businesses and limit restrictions on them so more can succeed. The reason why this is going to work is because when businesses thrive, they create more jobs. And the more jobs there are, the more income there is to the government. In this way, we are not only getting the deficit taken care of, but the people too. Another way we are going to get rid of the deficit is by getting rid of loopholes and taxes for the rich. If we eliminate loopholes for the rich, we will end up getting the same amount of income we are now. On the top of the taxes for middle class, which will be cut, but it's still a sufficient amount to put us back on track. Another huge issue is program funding, or TV funding. Some say we're going to kill Big Bird, but that is not the case. We're going to stop government funding to PBS. Government funding is not in the Constitution. This is our money going to unnecessary things. PBS has enough money to keep themselves going. So do other programs the government is funding, which once again is our money. Clearly, where we stand financially, President Obama's plan has failed us all. It has created $6.9 trillion in debt, like I said before, more than any president ever. How has this helped?
Okay, we're going to have a response from Team Obama on deficit and debt right now.
According to Tax Policy Center, Romney's plan would cost us $4.8 trillion over 10 years. The Tax Policy Center also found that for the plan not to add to the debt, taxes on middle-class family households would have to increase by $2,000. My proposed deficit reduction plan claims to reduce the debt by $4 trillion over a decade. The budget's prominent reductions are $1 trillion from closing corporate loopholes and raising taxes on high-income earners, $2 trillion in spendings cuts, $850 billion in savings from ending the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and $800 billion on saving from curbed interest payments on the national debt.
When I arrived in office, but the economy was already in the worst crisis, I need more time to recover the road for the future, to solve the debt for the U.S. and for us. We need your help to make our future a better future.
And also, I refuse to let the auto industries die. I took a choice on Americans and paid it off. More than 1 million jobs were saved. The U.S. auto industries is rolling back and adding jobs. All government loans were paid back ahead of time. And Romney said to just let Detroit go bankrupt.
I have to cut you off there, Mr. Kelvin, Mr. Obama.
Thank you.
Our next question, Team Obama, don't go too far. It comes from the Ginkgo room. Olivia Van Dale has a question on education.
Teachers are out of work and programs and resources are being cut in schools across America. Funding is going to testing programs instead of to students and teachers. What will you do to bring funding back to public schools across America?
I stopped 7 million student loans from doubling. My competitor Mitt Romney would disintegrate my above efforts would save $60 billion. He tells Americans to, and I quote, just borrow the money from your parents. I know a good teacher can change a student's life. Also, I'm trying to make it so only the best teachers are in the classroom. I'm letting the states create their own plan to better children's education. Mitt Romney does not want to reduce class sizes. He also says Americans should cut back on teachers. I'm working on the No Child Left Behind issue and investing in community colleges. While he was governor, Mitt Romney cut community colleges funding by 17%. By 2006, the schools he cut back on, their tuition was 59% higher than normal colleges' tuition. Also, Mitt Romney will abandon the bipartisan national commitment to turn failing schools into good schools. Now, I am dedicated to helping veterans pay for college, so So far, I've helped over 800,000 veterans and their families go to college. Mitt Romney would cut veterans funding by 19%, otherwise known as $11 billion a year. Despite spending more than just about every other country in the world, we lack in virtually every measure of results. We've got to challenge our states to adopt a world-class standard that meets the locals' needs and still brings our curriculums to the 21st century. My fellow Americans, I thank you for listening and remind you that if you vote for Obama, college will be more affordable for you.
All right, Team Romney, this is your chance to respond to Team Obama's view on education.
I would just like to point out first that some of the stuff may be true, but from the beginning, we, the Romney Group, haven't been against education. That's not what we're all about. Actually, it even says, like Kennedy's going to bring up in our 5-point plan, something completely the opposite of down with education. So I'm going to hand it over to these guys.
Romney wants to provide better education in public schools. He wants better retraining programs as well to help the unemployed get qualifications.
We also would like to promote charter schools. These are a few reasons why. Stop bullying from happening. We say this because the economic position President Obama put us in, families can't always purchase the latest fashion. Another reason is to increase education rates. And the last reason is for kids having a healthy and warm surrounding.
We would also like to say that Governor Romney had a scholarship put in place, the John and Abigail Adams Scholarship for the people in the top 25% of the high school class for 4 years of tuition for college.
We will also push to raise value cap for high-skilled workers and grant permission residents to immigrants with a advanced degree in math, sciences, and engineers to bring forth incentive to get a higher education. If Romney is president, we will force job training opportunity so that students will that be in elementary or in college will prepare for real workers upon entering the workforce.
Okay, that concludes our education discussion. And now from the Pine Room, Odin Coprit is going to ask a question about foreign policy. Take it away, Odin.
Since 9/11, some Americans are concerned that the government has too much control to counter terrorism. Do you agree with our current policies?
That question is for Team Romney.
We currently, in the Romney campaign, have a bit of adjustments to make to the foreign policy, such as broadening out our reaches of allies. We want to bring more people in, like Africa and China, and get closer relationships and make a stronger America so that we can actually protect ourselves and be more established in the world.
We can't just let people go without wondering what they're going to do or what they're going to have on an airplane or on mostly anything. You might be annoyed when you have to take off your watch, necklace, shoes, just to make sure that everything will be okay. But it's only there just to help America.
One of our strategies to making a better foreign policy is making America stronger. We believe that our Romney foreign policy will proceed with clarity and resolve. Our friends and allies will not have doubts about where we stand and what we will do to safeguard our interests and theirs. Neither will our rivals, competitors, or adversaries. We believe that the best ally world peace has ever known is a strong America. The last best hope was what Abraham Lincoln called our country. We in the Romney Group believe in fulfilling the promise of Lincoln's words and will defend America abroad in word and in deed.
I would just like to quickly add on to Hannah's. I just wanted to say that it's very important that we branch out to other countries. So if we have more allies, we don't need to spend so much money on war anymore. It's actually been a lot of money to pay for military, and I think if we get more allies, we can stop more of that war, and it won't be such a big issue with our funding.
Adding on to what Hannah and Drew both said about having more allies, like if you have more allies, there won't be as much war and more peace. And the war has been costing us crazy amounts of money, like when we sent, I believe it was like 147 missiles towards Libya. That wasted so much money, and President Obama cleared that. He's the one who did that. And that just adds more to our deficit, which puts us in a worse position.
All right, Team Obama, this is your chance to respond to foreign policy.
First, I'd like to go against what Team Romney said, because when Mitt Romney went on a foreign trip to Britain, he insulted them right before the Olympics. He called a steer in Britain by questioning whether the country is prepared to host the Olympic Games without a hitch and scheduling a fundraiser with the former head of a troubled bank. And he spent months on the campaign trail criticizing our allies and partners around the world. I have strengthened our alliances around the world with friends like Israel. Our NATO allies, which includes 28 North American and European countries, and our partners in Asia and Latin America. I also brought together international politicians to confront shared challenges such as Iran's nuclear program. Here's a mini history lesson. In 1949, the purpose of NATO, North American Atlantic Treaty Organization, was to maintain a level of peace and stability in Europe. NATO, the North American Atlantic Treaty Organization, is a military alliance of 28 North American and European countries. The role of the organization is to safeguard the freedom and security of its member countries by political and military means. Thank you.
I came to power envisioning a foreign policy based on 3 pillars: a changed relationship with the rising powers in Asia, particularly China; a transformed relationship between the United States and the Muslim world in which cooperation replaced conflict; and strengthen the relationship between the United States and the nuclear disarmament.
Okay, so the Romney team over here has said that the wars and everything has cost a boatload of money, but it's not just costing us money, it's costing us lives. Thank you.
That's it, I have to cut you off there. Okay, don't go too far once again, Team Obama. Next question comes from the Willow Room. Roland has a question about taxes.
For over 30 years, both parties have stated that they will give more tax cuts to the wealthy, they will create jobs, and the money would trickle down. When can we expect this to happen?
I am spending tax money on education, infrastructure, and manufacturing. IA Bridge is getting the lowest amount of tax dollars in over 50 years. Also, I'm trying extremely hard to make it so millionaires pay more taxes than middle-class Americans like us. After all, millionaires get a bigger income, so I personally believe they should pay more taxes.
Romney wants to preserve loopholes so millionaires like himself don't pay more taxes than middle-class Americans. I cut taxes for every working American, saving the average American $3,600. What can you do with $3,600? What can you do with $3,600?
I can do a lot of stuff.
Then vote for President Obama, because he would leave you with $3,600.
In order for Mitt Romney to lower taxes for the millionaires like he claims, he would have to raise middle-class Americans' taxes. This would cost a typical family, including children, an extra $2,000 a year. I have given a very detailed, down-to-earth plan of profit increases and spending cuts that successfully reduce the deficit by more than $4 trillion, all throughout the next decade. And since only a few solo businesses' incomes are higher than $200,000, raising millionaires' taxes would only affect a few businesses.
The first thing Romney would do, tax-related, is give a huge tax cut to the wealthy, which is not a good thing because that means middle-class Americans' tax would go up, meaning we pay more.
I want to go into what the Romney team said in their opening statement, which was that they wanted to lower taxes for the middle class, which Romney doesn't. So he wants to increase. I want to increase a household making less than $1 million, so the middle class won't have to pay as much. Romney wants to preserve loopholes that allows millionaires like himself to pay a lower taxes rate than working families.
We thank you for listening about the issue of taxes and want to remind you that if you vote for Obama, then you will not have your taxes raised and you'll get an extra $3,600. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Obama. Your response, Team Romney, to taxes.
Okay, this is going to be a good one. I really do like the subject of taxes. I would like to point out a few things that the Obama said. That's not true. I'm sorry. We are not looking to raise taxes on the middle class. We have stated that tons of times in the debates for the election. That's not our plan. Even if it does end up getting us in a sticky state, we will find a different way because that is not our goal. We are working to champion small businesses so they can take the jobs and end up bringing more income into the government. See, I want Jill over here. She has a brilliant description of how our tax plan pays out.
We will be cutting taxes for small businesses, helping them to expand and bring back more jobs, cutting tax from the middle classes, and keeping the same taxes for the rich, but eliminating loopholes, therefore keeping the same tax income.
President Obama knows we can't simply cut our way to prosperity. His budgets include investments in education, manufacturing, and a few small companies, and even more. The Romney campaign would like to mainly discuss those companies. While we think it's great that President Obama is investing in companies and trying to make them more wealthier and bring in more profit, but those companies went bankrupt and lost all the money President Obama gave to them. With Governor Romney president, we will do whatever we can to not let stuff like that happen. By investing a reasonable amounts in companies we want to invest in to help benefit the American people.
Just to add on to everybody, clearly whatever Obama has done, his economy plan, his plan, it hasn't helped us. So I mean, if we continue it and do the exact same thing all over again, that's just going to increase the deficit.
Okay, this next topic is a hot button topic, and it comes from the Pine Room, Ms. Faith Lafada, directed toward Team Romney, dealing with national security.
It appears that the Middle East is gaining momentum and building up its nuclear weapons program. Within the budget, what is your plan to continue to protect our national security?
To help improve our national security is we want to have a lot tighter security. A lot of people may think it's a pain just trying to like get through one of those metal things at the airport, you know, but we just want everybody to be safe so something like 9/11 does not happen again. So let me give it over to Justin.
And as I once said, we have to look at the things. We can't just pick over people just taking our watches and shoes. I know it's tedious and you have to get an X-ray, but it helps us. It helps us with knowing who's gonna come on the plane, knowing what they have and what are they planning on doing or where are they going, and all of this.
To the Middle East. Iran with its Iran is soon making up a nuclear capability. Romney has promised to help stop that. However, Obama, with decreasing our national defense budget, it has been getting harder. The national defense is low in funding and ship numbers haven't been as low as since 1916. How is this going to benefit our country?
I know, as President Obama will probably say, he's helped kill Osama bin Laden, but just killing one person who was in charge of Al-Qaeda, but he probably won't, it would kill them and probably will make the people mad because he was like their leader and they all looked up to him, and it probably will make you even mad and add more fuel to the fire.
Okay, Team Obama, your response to national security. 2 minutes.
Okay, first of all, Romney, when I killed Osama bin Laden, Romney said that it doesn't take heaven and earth to defeat one person. And killing Osama bin Laden actually helped because he helped us. It helped us by like he was like one of our main enemies. So now that we have gotten rid of him, we are now trying to create more allies so we can be safer in the world. And also, my plan is to withdraw troops from Afghanistan in wars. Romney has no plans to withdraw troops from Afghanistan. Thank you.
Before you start, Romney said in the Washington Post opinion piece, despite all of this, the president's new start with Russia could be the worst foreign policy mistake yet. The treaty are submitted to the Senate should not be ratified. On his website, he refers to New Start as part of a We Give, Russia Gets policy and promises to review it to determine whether they serve the best interests and national security of the U.S.
For what Romney has said about killing Osama bin Laden, that has helped us because our security is more safe without him, because most of his people that lived with him, they are angry, but they don't have what he had to get to us because it was secure, he had it secure, and he didn't show it to anyone except for one of his members. And I'm not sure if we know where he is or not, but it's pretty hard for them to get to what he had. So it is very safe without him, and we're getting more allies to help us with that.
And also, one of my plans are to retrieve the nuclear weapons from the terrorists. Romney wants to invest in more weapons so that we can be protection, but that's kind of making ourselves a target in different wars. Thank you.
All right, great points by both teams. Question 6, directed at Team Obama, comes from the Ginkgo room. We're going back to the Ginkgo room. Kayla Andrews, dealing with economy.
With all the talk of creating new jobs in the private sector, what do you both plan to do to save or bring back jobs in the public sector that were lost in the last few years, such as teachers, fire and police, government workers, etc.?
Before Barack Hussein Obama took office, the economy was losing 800,000 jobs a month. Now we see 31 continuous months of job growth and 5.2 million new private sector jobs. Mitt Romney opposed the Recovery Act, opposed the auto industry, said that we should let the housing market hit the bottom.
Out of those 5.2 million new jobs, we've seen,
Okay, we'll do a response from Team Romney, dealing with the economy. You still have time? Okay. Go ahead, Antonio.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, have a plan to bring jobs back to the U.S. by eliminating tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas and creating incentives for businesses to bring jobs back to America. Mitt Romney has no plan to get rid of tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas, and he wants to end taxes on American companies' foreign profits, which will actually encourage more outsourcing. U.S. manufacturing has added 459,000 jobs since January 2010.
the most growth in 10 years. Mitt Romney mocked me for encouraging young people to pursue careers in manufacturing, and while he was governor of Massachusetts, the state lost manufacturing jobs at a rate twice the normal average.
All right, Team Romney, now your response on the economy.
All right, so our plan to bring jobs back into the public sector is about drilling for oil and coal and stuff like that. See, as President Obama, a little bit ago in the debate, said that oil has been up by 14%, but the thing is, the oil was up 14% in the private sector, which means people are doing it on their own land and not in the government land. He actually cut the government permits for drilling in public land in half. So that means like they're gone. And those jobs from the government are just being annihilated. But one of the main things President Obama said as an excuse, reason why he would want to drill, is efficiency. This stuff that's good for the planet. And not killing the ozone and so on. But my friend Merlin here, he's got a really good statement on that. Let's hear him.
I am not a scientist myself, but my best assessment of the data is that the world is getting warmer. That human activity contributes to that warming, and that policy makers should therefore consider the risk of negative consequences. This is the data. This is a statement Governor Romney said himself. We have made it clear that the effects on the ozone are definitely caused by some man-made factors and agree that we need to take that into account when we create things. We can make this country more energy efficient and will, but first we need to make sure that the human population is taken care of as well, because how are we expected to give care we don't have? Our plan is to get America back on its feet by using the sufficient amount of resources we have here and drill for oil here instead in other countries. And then when we get back to a good place in the economy, we fix the planet.
All right, Team Romney, you're going to stay up here. Next question, but we're going to go back to the little room. Amanda Jones has a question about the planet, which Merlin already touched on a little bit.
Thinking globally, what can we do to ensure that the air, ground, and waters of our Earth are left cleaner for the next generation? What policies do you intend to make with regards to tapping into clean energy solutions?
So, as my good buddy Merlin over here stated before, we are definitely noting that the planet needs to be taken care of, but so does the human population. So like he said, first we're going to fix the economy and make sure that people are safe, and then we're going to go full on fixing the planet. See, the president himself has already been trying to take care of that, but see, the problem was he invested in some companies that ended up going bankrupt, which means all the money, well, on occasion, most of the money that President Obama gave them was lost, which means more money that we paid out of pocket is just poof, gone, nothing. So he also ended up adding to the deficit by trying to help the earth, but we have plenty of oil and stuff here. So that's our plan for fixing that, is to wait a little while until we get back on our feet, then go on full force in fixing the planet.
We also want to use more clean energy or natural energy as well, because it doesn't pollute as much, and we also don't have to get out of the ground, which helps not destroy our beautiful earth, and we don't want that to happen because our earth is beautiful.
As natural energy, like wind farms, the more wind farms we make, like, that's more jobs, and more jobs the better.
Also, the energy saving, we can also like use solar panels and stuff, and most people don't think that it's gonna do that much, but it actually helps like a whole lot than what they think.
And this is just really small, but electric cars is a good way to conserve fossil fuels, which would be good for the planet, and I just wanted to say that very quickly. Thanks.
Okay, Team Obama, your response to the planet.
We plan to convert over 80% of our electricity to clean energy. We want to cut over $40 billion over 10 years in tax breaks for oil and gas companies, while we maintain tax incentives for renewables. There's a 30% investment tax credit for clean energy equipment, which encourages solar energy.
My concern is that the United States and other nations won't slow global warming fast enough, and several tipping points could be fast approaching. I believe my excerpts that warming of a few degrees more would lead to predictions in food storage in some regions. I say I will to strengthen protections reducing greenhouse gas threats, both natural and man-made. As president, I will make every effort to safeguard the environment, but I will also be mindful about steps of the way of protecting the jobs of American workers. I want families and communities to be protected.
Yeah, first of all, Romney really didn't want anything, at first, he really didn't want anything to do with coal, and to save global. And he didn't have anything to do to save global warming. But what some of my plans are to get rid of the green issues. For example, I want to reduce carbon. I want to, for example, I want to reduce carbon emissions 80% by 2950. Improve energy efficiency 50% by 2030. I'm investing in a clean future and restore the U.S. leadership on climate change. I'm funding and include domestic public buildings, tax breaks and loans for solar and wind powered primes. I'm investing in an electric grid and expansion of subways and intercity trains. So basically, I have a lot of stuff to do, which if you would let me finish my job, I will finish it.
Okay, stay up here, Team Obama, because we're headed back to the Willow, or the Elmer. I'm sorry, Yusuf Jihad is going to be the next question. Step right up, Yusuf. It's dealing with health care.
If you are elected president, how will your administration reform health care so that it is affordable and accessible to all people?
If I am reelected, if you reelect
elect me, Obamacare will help over 20.4 million women gain access to new women's health care. If I am re-elected, I will use Obamacare to help small businesses provide